Hollyoaks has confirmed a devastating new storyline for Grace Black, as a historic secret is finally revealed. Grace has been desperately searching for the truth about her past in recent weeks, since her sister Claire dropped the bombshell that the baby she had as a teenager actually survived. Meanwhile, Grace and Claire's grandfather Froggy arrived in the village this week, out of prison on day release and wanting to reconnect with his grandchildren. He got Rex involved and insisted that they all sit down for a family meal. There was a rather tense dinner table scene in today's episode, with Rex confronting Claire about sending him threats, although viewers know that Lucas is the real culprit. The topic of conversation turned to snitching on family, and it was soon revealed to Grace that Claire and Fraser worked together to send Froggy to prison, which is why he's been behind bars for 2 decades. Grace demanded to know what Froggy did, but it was clear that he and Claire were hiding something from her. Froggy asked if he could stay with Grace once he's properly released from prison and she agreed, but Claire wasn't happy that they were getting along. The family headed to the Hollyoaks in Bloom competition to watch Tori playing piano, but the music brought back a deeply repressed memory for Grace. She panicked and rushed home, and Claire and Froggy later found her on the floor in a distressed state. Tori's music choice was a song that Claire used to play as a child, and the sound made Grace remember the abuse she suffered at the hands of her dad Fraser. "He used to say I was the most beautiful girl in the world," she said, "right before he did disgusting things to me. Claire, he raped me." As the sisters broke down in tears, how will Grace process this hidden trauma? Hollyoaks confirms devastating new storyline for Grace Black as dark family secrets resurface. Hollyoaks has never shied away from tackling difficult and emotional subjects, and the show is now set to explore one of its most powerful and harrowing storylines in recent years. Longtime fan favorite Grace Black is at the center of a shocking new arc, as hidden truths about her family and her past finally come to light. In recent weeks, Grace has been desperately searching for answers after her sister Claire Devine dropped a life-changing bombshell. The baby Grace believed had died when she was a teenager had actually survived. That revelation alone sent shockwaves through the Black family, but it was only the beginning. Now, a devastating new twist is set to turn Grace's world upside down once more, as repressed memories resurface and long-buried family secrets are dragged back into the light. A family meal filled with tension. This week's episodes have already introduced a key figure from Grace and Claire's past, their grandfather, Froggy Black. Recently released from prison on day release, Froggy turned up in the village determined to reconnect with his fractured family. Viewers watched as he attempted to gather his grandchildren together, insisting on a tense sit-down dinner with Rex Gallagher and both sisters present. The family meal was anything but peaceful. What began as a simple attempt at bonding quickly spiraled into heated accusations and painful revelations. Rex, already furious after a string of mysterious threats, confronted Claire across the table, accusing her of being behind the campaign of intimidation. Soap fans, however, already know the truth. It's actually Lucas who has been pulling the strings from the shadows. As tempers flared, the conversation took a darker turn. The subject of loyalty and betrayal arose, particularly the issue of snitching within families. It was here that Grace overheard something that stopped her cold. To her shock, it was revealed that Claire and their father Fraser had once worked together to have Froggy imprisoned, ensuring that he spent the last 20 years behind bars. For Grace, who has long struggled to piece together a coherent picture of her fractured family, the discovery was earth-shattering. Why would Claire and Fraser conspire against Froggy? And what exactly had he done to deserve such a lengthy prison sentence? Froggy's unsettling request. Still reeling from the revelation, Grace tried to process the new information while Froggy sought to draw closer to her. In a quietly tense moment away from the dinner table, Froggy asked Grace if he could stay with her once he is formally released from prison. Despite her lingering doubts, Grace agreed to his request, a decision that immediately caused friction with Claire. For Claire, who has always maintained a strong grip on Grace's life, the idea of Froggy and Grace bonding posed a direct threat. Soap viewers could already sense the storm brewing. With Froggy's motives unclear, Claire's manipulative tendencies rising to the surface, and Grace caught between them, the Black family saga was heading into explosive territory. Music unlocks a hidden memory. The drama escalated even further during the Hollyoaks in Bloom competition, an annual village tradition. Grace attended the event to support Tori, who was performing on the piano. At first, the moment seemed lighthearted, a rare chance for the family to gather in a setting untouched by conflict. But as Tori played, the atmosphere shifted. The chosen song struck a haunting chord with Grace, triggering a deeply buried memory. Suddenly, she was no longer at the community competition but reliving something far more painful. Panic overtook her, and she rushed out of the event, overwhelmed and unable to breathe. Later, Claire and Froggy found Grace collapsed on the floor at home, trembling and in tears. The truth began to unravel as Grace realized why the music had hit her so hard. It was the same tune Claire used to play as a child. That sound had unlocked a repressed trauma Grace had been carrying for decades. Grace's devastating confession. In a heartbreaking scene that left viewers in tears, Grace finally gave voice to the truth she had buried so deep. As Claire knelt beside her, Grace broke down, recalling memories of her father, Fraser. "He used to say I was the most beautiful girl in the world," Grace whispered, her voice breaking, "right before he did disgusting things to me. Claire, he raped me." The revelation stunned Claire into silence, and the sisters broke down together in sobs. For years, Grace had carried the unbearable weight of her father's abuse alone. Now, finally, the truth was out, but the question remains. How will she begin to process such a horrific trauma? Exploring Grace Black's journey. Grace has always been one of Hollyoaks' most complex and resilient characters. Known for her tough exterior, sharp wit, and fearless attitude, she has been at the center of countless dramatic arcs over the years, from her volatile relationship with Trevor Royal to her ruthless business dealings in the village. But this storyline peels back the layers of Grace's persona to reveal the vulnerable woman beneath. For the first time, viewers are seeing the trauma that shaped her life and influenced so many of her decisions. By confronting her past, Grace is forced to grapple not only with what happened to her but also with the lies, cover-ups, and betrayals that allowed the abuse to remain hidden. The role of Claire and Froggy. Claire's role in this storyline is equally fascinating. Long established as a manipulative and self-serving character, Claire's relationship with her sister has always been fraught with jealousy and rivalry. Yet, in the face of Grace's confession, she was visibly shaken. Could this storyline pave the way for a softer, more protective side of Claire to emerge? Froggy's presence adds another layer of intrigue. Why did he return now, after 2 decades in prison? His insistence on bonding with Grace raises questions about whether he is genuinely trying to reconnect, or whether he too has secrets to hide. His history with Fraser and Claire suggests that his involvement is far from innocent. Fraser's shadow looms large. Though Fraser is long gone, his presence continues to haunt both Grace and Claire. As a notorious villain within the Hollyoaks universe, Fraser was feared and despised for his ruthless behavior. This latest revelation cements his role as not just a criminal but also an abuser whose actions caused irreparable harm within his own family. For Grace, reliving those memories will be the ultimate test of her strength. The storyline will no doubt explore how she copes with confronting the darkest chapters of her past, and whether she can find peace in the aftermath. Fan reactions and soap history. Fans have already taken to social media to express their shock at the unfolding storyline. Many praised the show for tackling such an important and sensitive subject, while others shared their heartbreak at seeing a beloved character endure such pain. Hollyoaks has a long tradition of addressing real-world issues through its characters, from bullying and self-harm to domestic violence and mental health. Grace's storyline continues this legacy, shining a spotlight on childhood abuse and the long-lasting effects of trauma. What happens next? As the storyline continues, viewers can expect Grace's journey to remain front and center. Will she pursue justice against those who enabled Fraser's actions? Can she rebuild her life and find strength in the support of her loved ones? And what role will Claire play, supportive sister or destructive force? Froggy's future also remains uncertain. With so much of his past still shrouded in mystery, his motives are bound to come under scrutiny. And with Rex and Lucas stirring trouble on the sidelines, Grace's battle for the truth may become even more complicated. Conclusion. The latest Hollyoaks storyline marks a turning point for Grace Black. For years, she has been portrayed as a survivor, tough, resourceful, and sometimes ruthless. Now, the audience understands the true extent of what she has survived. By revealing her abuse at the hands of Fraser, the soap has opened the door to a raw and emotional exploration of trauma, healing, and family betrayal. As Grace faces the most devastating chapter of her life, one thing is clear. Hollyoaks is about to deliver some of its most powerful storytelling yet.